Welcome to day 8, and we are finally in Cairo. So it's our first full day here. I warn you, this one probably is going to be long. It was quite the day, and we saw a lot of stuff. So, starting off, we had to use the lobby bathroom. Check this out, there's like a spray gun. I'm not really sure if it's for cleaning the toilet or cleaning yourself, but either way, I wanted to point it out. Breakfast was about as good as dinner. The fruit and vegetables were delicious, but that's pretty much the only positive stuff I can say. Our first place to visit was going to be the Great Pyramids. However, on the way, of course, was taking pictures at the window. A funny thing I found is that their pharmacy, here's the picture, it's like a martini glass with a snake on it. Also saw the bus stops, and they're very fancy looking. We got to the Plateau of Giza, and we saw the 2 big pyramids, as well as some of the smaller ones, and it was amazing. There were camels running around, he called them the camel people. Apparently it was $1 to get on the camel, and then once you're up there they charge you $100 to get down, or something of that nature, which is so harsh. Apparently we'll be on camels eventually later on in the tour, so I'm excited for that, so we didn't waste our time. There were also horses that came running past. We got many pictures by the pyramids. Here's me taking a couple silly pictures. Quality. I know. You're impressed. And kissing a pyramid. So the Great Pyramid is 450 feet, and it is shaped like the sun rays. Apparently that's how they originally came up with the design, because the sun rays would come through the clouds and make this pyramid type shape. Some of the blocks are 16 metric tons each, and they would have been dragged there on like little sleds basically through the sand. And there are 2.5 million blocks on the Great Pyramid. They're just so massive. I mean, pictures don't really do them justice. I did take a video to try and give it a bit more scale, but it's just ridiculous how big it is. I also found out that they look like they're falling apart because when they started building Cairo up later on in time, they figured, why would we quarry limestone when we can just steal it from right here? But of course, that hasn't deterred anyone from coming. They're still totally amazing. It just would have been so neat to see them all buff and polished like they used to be. Also, the tops of the pyramids have the capstone, and that would be what would catch the light of the sun first in the morning because it was highest, and they'd have gold or silver, a mixture of that on top of it, so it would be all twinkly and beautiful. I, of course, ran into some dogs and had to give them some love. They were very, very cute. We also visited the Solar Boat Museum. And these boats had been made out of cedar, and pretty much like one tree would be the length, like it would be a full tree to make one length, and this boat was monstrous, and it just would have been used for him in the afterlife. It wasn't even something they used in real life, which also seems amazing, and it was kept together essentially with rope. We also had these funny little foot covers that we had to wear there, because I'm assuming the entire museum would be covered in sand if we didn't. We also had an armed escort, which was scary. I swear he had an Uzi. I caught a few glimpses of it during the day, and from my video game knowledge, I'm 90% sure he was carrying an Uzi. He was very, very nice, but at the same time, it made me kind of step back and go, whoa. Then we moved on to the Sphinx, which is just down the way a little bit. And we also saw the embalming room, and our guide explained a little bit how there used to be many statues in that room, and they cut the windows just so that when the sun rose, it would be like spotlights on the statues, which I thought was so interesting as well. And again, I'm gonna say so interesting and so beautiful and so amazing way too many times. Forgive me, it's only because it's true. Side note, fun stuff. Who knew that getting ripped off could look so bad? Check out this dress that this woman got. Yeesh. We then headed to the Papyrus Museum and found out how it was made. So they'd take the papyrus, they'd strip off the outside, they'd cut it into thin strips, and they'd pound it with a mallet and then roll it out with a rolling pin, and then they'd put it in water to soak. And depending how many hours they'd left it would be what color it was. It was 6 hours for the lightish color and 12 for the dark brown color. After they let it soak, they'd put it in strips together one way and then the other way on top of it, and it basically sticks to itself because it's kind of starchy and sugary from the plant material that it is. And then they would press it, put it in the sun to dry, and that was that. And it was so strong and lasts for years. There's tons of papyrus around even today that the scripts were written on in the scrolls. So that was really cool to see. And then we got to look around the place. He did explain what the Egyptian calendar is, and I found that very, very interesting. There are the 4 horse figurines all around the sides, and those are the 4 directions. Then there's the goddess Isis all the way around 4 times, and she symbolizes the 4 seasons. Then all the figures of Isis and Horus combined is 12, which is the months of the year. And then in the middle they have all the astrological signs, so that was really neat. I also saw a yard of dogs, which was very entertaining. There were like 12 dogs. They were all little guard dogs, but they were little baby ones. We then headed to lunch at the Falafel Cafe, and there was a hilarious picture of a monkey eating a banana on a toilet by the bathroom. Lunch was not bad. Again, the appetizers were yummy. The main meal, not so good again. Everything was kind of fatty and not totally recognizable. And the dessert was like a creamy milk pudding thing. I hate custard, and this was very similar to it, so unfortunately none for me. But I did have delicious mango juice, which made me a very happy girl. We then headed on to the Egyptian Museum of Cairo. On the way there, we saw crops, beautiful, beautiful greenness within the very yellow sand, as well as a carrot salesman who had both orange and purple carrots. Ooh, purple carrots!